All right, let's get right into it. Artificial intelligence is showing up in our schools, and honestly, it's not waiting for permission. So the big question is, how are education leaders across the country handling it? Well, they're writing the official playbook, and we're about to break down exactly what's inside.
You know, this quote from Washington State Superintendent really nails the feeling on the ground. This isn't some what-if scenario for the future. Nope, this is happening right now. Students and teachers are already using these tools. So the conversation isn't if AI belongs in schools, but how we're going to manage it.
So what's the big idea guiding these new rules? A lot of states are rallying around a framework like this one, called Human AI Human. And the concept is actually pretty simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. It means that a person always starts the process, right? They use AI as a tool in the middle, but it always comes back to a person to think, reflect, and make the final decision. For instance, a student might ask the AI about the fall of the Roman Empire, and the AI can spit out all the key theories. But then it's back on the student, the human, to analyze everything and build their own argument. It's all about keeping people in the driver's seat.
Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, right? But how are school districts actually building these playbooks from the ground up? Let's take a look at the process.
The first thing to know is this isn't happening in some back room. Following guidance from the U.S. Department of Education, states are starting with community. They're listening to parents, students, teachers, everyone. Then they're putting together these diverse task forces to figure out a strategy. And maybe most importantly, they're not reinventing the wheel. They're updating the policies they already have for things like tech use and academic honesty to now include AI. So think of it more as an evolution, not a revolution.
So that's how the rules get made. But what does all this actually look like when the bell rings? You know, inside the classroom, this is where the rubber really meets the road.
And this slide, this perfectly captures the tightrope every educator is walking. On one side, the opportunities are just huge. I mean, personalized tutoring for every kid, an AI brainstorming partner, a massive productivity boost, yes, please. But the risks are just as serious. AI can literally make stuff up. They call it hallucinating. It can amplify unfair biases, and if we're not careful, it could actually limit a student's ability to think critically.
So the whole game is about maximizing those upsides. For teachers, it's all about empowerment. Guidance from places like Mississippi and Rhode Island shows AI being used to just slash that mountain of administrative work. We're talking drafting emails, generating lesson ideas, even translating newsletters for families who speak different languages. All of this frees up teachers to do what only they can do: connect with their students.
And what about for the students? Well, the goal is to frame AI as this amazing learning tool, not just a cheat sheet. Think of it like a personal tutor who can help you prep for a test or walk you through a math problem step by step. And get this, some of the cleverest guidance from places like Washington and West Virginia actually suggests having students critique an essay written by AI. This forces them to spot the errors and the weak arguments, which is an incredible way to build their own critical thinking skills.
Of course, we have to talk about academic integrity. Let's just get it out there. The new playbooks are crystal clear. Passing off AI-generated work as your own is plagiarism, period. So the new skill isn't about how to get away with it, it's about how to properly cite and credit an AI tool, just like you would any other book or website you use for research.
Okay, so with all these new tools flying around, how do schools keep kids safe? That's where these digital guardrails come into play.
Guardrail number one is a big one: mitigating bias. See, an AI learns from the massive amounts of data we feed it. And if that data contains historical biases, well, the AI won't just learn them, it can actually make them worse. The only real defense against this is constant human oversight.
Guardrail number two, protecting privacy. And this one is completely non-negotiable. The good news is we already have powerful federal laws for this, like FERPA and COPPA, that have been around for a long time. These laws form the legal foundation for any AI policy in a school. And guardrail number three is all about preventing harm. The policies are being written very explicitly here. Using AI to create malicious deepfake images to impersonate another student or to supercharge cyberbullying is absolutely forbidden, and there are clear consequences. And this, right here, is why those community listening sessions we talked about are so vital. Take a look at this data from Rhode Island. It shows that parents are way more concerned about AI bias than educators and administrators are. That's a huge gap in perspective, and you have to address that gap if you want these policies to actually work. So, what does one of these guardrails actually look like in practice? Well, here's a perfect real-world example from Alabama. It's a clause they put directly into contracts with tech companies, and it flat out forbids them from using any student data to train their future AI models. It's like a digital lockbox.
making sure student information is only used for their own education and nothing else.
So you've got all these new tools, all these new rules. What's the ultimate goal here? Where is this all headed? Well, it actually brings us right back to the very beginning, our human-centered future.
If you only remember one thing from all of this, please let it be this. Woven through every single state's guidance document is this core principle. AI is here to supplement, not replace, the human teacher. That connection between a student and a teacher, that is still the most important technology in any classroom.
And really, the end game here is AI literacy for everyone. This isn't about making every kid a coder. It's much broader. It's about teaching them the basics of how AI works, making sure they know it can make mistakes and be biased, and giving them the skills to critically evaluate anything it spits out. Which leads us to this final, and I think most critical question. AI is literally designed to provide answers, instantly. But in a world that is suddenly flooded with answers, the most valuable human skill is knowing how to ask the right questions. And that is both the fundamental challenge and the incredible opportunity for education in this new era.